Mission control.
Three screen.
You ready? All right. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, July 27, 2021 Urbandale City Council meeting. I will call the meeting to order and ask Cole to take roll call, please.
Carberry Montgomery. Here. Caduce.
Here.
Obrecht.
Here.
Hoagie.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale's national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Pogge,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. All right, item 3, presentation. I do have a special proclamation to read tonight for National Night Out. Excuse me. Whereas the Urbandale Police Department is sponsoring its 12th annual crime, drug, and violence prevention program on August 3, 2021, entitled National Night Out. And whereas nationally, National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for the city of Urbandale to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police and community crime prevention efforts. And whereas it is essential for all residents of Urbandale to be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in our community, and by supporting our local National Night Out 2021 event. And whereas police and community partnerships, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes for the National Night Out program, now therefore I, Robert Andoig, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, on behalf of the Urbandale City Council and the entire community, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 3, 2021 as National Night Out, and call upon all residents and businesses of Urbandale to join the Urbandale Police Department in supporting the National Night Out on August 3, 2021. I'm going to sign this, and I'd like to bring the chief up if we could and present this and have him say a few words.
You guys know exactly what to do.
Anyway, yeah, National Night Out is coming up next week, August 3rd, 5 to 7:30. And we refer to this, at least in the support services division, as our Super Bowl, because this is our premier community outreach event that we do every year. We didn't have it last year, so we're eager to get back after it. But I'm just going to go through a few of the things that are going to happen at National Night Out. First, I'll start off with the food, because that's what everybody's really comes there for, right? So Domino's Pizza's going to be there. Hy-Vee's going to be there again with hot dogs and chips. Big Sky Bread's going to bring cookies. We're going to have popcorn. We're going to give away free T-shirts, sunglasses, water bottles, and drawstring bags. Activities include West Des Moines is going to bring their canine over because we're currently without our canine right now. We're going to have street hockey from Iowa Wild. We're going to have martial arts demonstrations. We're going to have a dance performance from a local Urbandale group, BU Dance. A petting zoo, new this year, spin art. We're going to have National Guard helicopter. We're going to have a Life Flight helicopter. We're going to have a dunk tank with a couple of our officers taking part in that, like we always do. We're going to have multiple bounce houses. And this year, National Guard is bringing a big climbing wall, obstacle course, bounce house type thing that they had up to the park for during the 4th of July. We're going to have our donut eating contest again. I am the co-champion from last year, so I hope to take the title exclusively this year. So I'm working my way up to that.
Has Randy been training again?
Actually, it was someone, I'm ashamed to admit this, but I tied with someone from the fire department, of all places, right? we're going to have our CERT Bearcat out. We're going to give away bicycle helmets. We're going to give away several bicycles like we always do, drawings for those. We got our pedal cart golf course out there. We're going to have a photo booth, superheroes, mobile pet adoption. Our fire safety house will be back. And then we're going to have booths with a ton of local vendors that are going to be there as well, giving out all kinds of stuff and doing little things for the kids. So top all that off, we're going to have live music from Bruce Day. It's going to be there as well. So tons of stuff going on. We're going to fill up that whole parking lot and spill down into the park area and all that. So it's going to be a big deal. So I hope everybody can make it. It'll be a lot of fun. And the heat's supposed to give up in a little bit next week, so it should be really, really good. Tomorrow, we're actually having a pre-event. We're calling it Party with the Police, and it's Touch a Truck. And from 6 to 8 tomorrow in our front parking lot, we're going to have 15 different vehicles in the parking lot, and with everything benefiting the Urbandale Food Pantry that we do tomorrow. And there's going to be all different types of trucks, fire trucks, police vehicles, obviously. We're going to have a cement mixer, snow plow, all different kinds of stuff in there for the kids to come out and climb around on. And
I think Dart's bringing a bus too.
Yeah, their electric bus.
Yeah.
so it's going to be full parking lot, full of vehicles, all different kinds that kids can get in and climb around on. So hope everybody can make it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
This is, again, a premier event, so I know it's a lot of work for the department, but thanks for all you do. And it is an important component of community policing and having our residents get to have some fun, obviously. I mean, it's about fun, but it's also about community policing and getting to know our police and knowing what they do and interacting. And so thank you for all you do on that. I appreciate it. All right, we will move on then to Citizens Forum. This is the opportunity to address the council on something that's not a part of tonight's agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to address the council, either here in the audience or online on the WebEx? Okay. All right, so seeing none, then I will move on. Item 5, adoption of minutes. First item 5.1, the July 13 meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion by Obrecht,
Second.
second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Then for the July 20 meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion by Obrecht,
Second.
second by Carberry Montgomery. Discussion, please vote.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, that passes. Item 6 is the consent agenda. We have 11 items for approval.
Move the consent items.
Motion by Russell,
Second.
second by Poggi. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Item 7, establish public hearings. We have one, item 7.1, that's to establish a public hearing for the Beaver Creek Bank stabilization for the August 24, 2021 meeting, and John Larson would answer any questions if there are any.
I'd move approval of Council Letter 6801.
Okay, motion by Poggi,
Second.
second by Caduce. Discussion, please vote.
Hit the wrong place. If you could move me, thank you.
Okay, that passes. Item 8, planning and zoning items. We have two. Item 8.1 is the Oakwood Haven preliminary plat at 88th Street and Meredith Drive. And introducing this is our Community Development Director, Steve Franklin. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Let's try to share a screen with you here. There we go. Sometimes it has to think about it for a minute. Okay. This is the preliminary plat for Oakwood Haven. This is the balance of the Best property that R&R recently purchased. There is a mixed use, it is a mixed use area. This is the big picture of what is to be done here. It includes finishing off the single-family residential, and these are all the lots that you see here, north of 86th Street. This is the existing park. There is a parcel here for the future multifamily, an outlot parcel here for the future townhomes, and then a commercial parcel here on the east end with frontage on 86th Street. 60 detached single-family residential lots are what are being proposed. Those would have a minimum width of 60 feet, except for lots that would be immediately adjacent to homes that exist, and those would be the 70-foot minimum lot width. And then, as I mentioned, there's a commercial parcel with frontage on 86th Street that's just under 4 acres. And the 2 outlots here for the multifamily and the townhomes total about 22.6 acres. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval. Be happy to answer any questions, and we've got folks from R&R here that can answer questions as well.
All right, thank you, Steve.
Could, 88th Street, I think is what that says. I didn't,
I can go in a little bit bigger
Yeah.
here to show you, okay?
coming out onto Meredith, it's a right only? Is there a median in the way of that, or is there also a left option on that?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think that's full. Yeah, I think that's full access.
All right, any other questions? And Adam, you'll be abstaining tonight, correct?
I'll be abstaining. Yep.
I would move council letter 6802.
Okay, motion by Russell,
Second.
second by Caduce, or excuse me, Obrecht, discussion, please vote. Sorry. Pretty good lately.
It's your first one.
All right, that passes. Item 8.2 is the Mallard Prairie Plat 3 final plat at 172nd Way and Sharon Drive. Steve.
This is the next plat in this development. It's about 17 acres. This is turned, so north is going to be to your left. So this would be up at the top with Hickory Drive. It's really along one street. It's 45 detached single-family residential lots, all having a minimum width of 65 feet. So you would start from the north with Hickory, which comes in from 170th Street, comes in from here. The first lots would run down to the south. There is a street that crosses. This is the existing Radiant Point development that is built out, frankly, at this point. Street would cross into future development off to the west, and then there's a cul-de-sac with some bigger lots at the end of that cul-de-sac. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval, subject to the conditions that are mentioned there in the report. And David Albright, the developer, and Brett Colt from the engineer here can answer questions as well.
Okay. And Councilperson Caduce, or Obrecht, is gonna abstain on this one, right? All right. Any questions for Steve on this item?
I'll move council letter 6803.
Okay, motion by Caduce,
Second.
second by Pogie, discussion, please vote. All right, thank you, that passes.
Wasn't Adam abstaining?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Who's that to abstain?
There we go. No, Obrecht. There we go.
With that, I'm the other item. There we go. All right, thank you, that passes. Item 9, professional, first is item 9.1 to consider the professional services agreement for the 2022 strategic planning, and introduce this is John Conyer. John, or is it John online? Our Director of Support Services.
Mayor, thank you. Members of the council, tonight is to consider a professional services agreement with Lyle Summick and Associates. Lyle is the consultant that we use to conduct the 2020 strategic plan. We felt for continuity reasons, it was best to bring Lyle back to do your 2022 strategic planning process. If approved tonight, the planning process would start in November. have in-person or Zoom meetings and then do an in-person or Zoom for council and you, Mayor, in December with the final product produced for January of 2022, which would work for the CIP and the budget process. Be happy to answer any questions that council and the mayor may have.
John, would the intention be to have the primary work session be in person pending COVID situation?
That is up to the council to decide. There is a cost to bring Lyle here for the in-person session. The amount referenced in the council letter is $35,000. That does include for Lyle to be here in person for your sessions, which would be a 2.5 day, 2 days for the mayor and council, and then a half-day wrap-up with AJ and key staff.
Is that a decision that we're supposed to be making tonight, or, I mean, think we should have him in person?
That is not a decision that the council has to make tonight. If you approved the contract to work with Lyle, then AJ plans to then poll and find out what your preference is. The contract is written that you could have Lyle in person because that's what we're asking for budgetary reauthorization for. And if you decide to do Zoom, the final cost would just be less than that amount.
Okay.
How does that compare to what we paid in 2019, John?
That's in 2019 we paid $24,900. So this is a $10,000 increase prior to what we paid in 2020.
Okay.
As John mentioned, we had talked about this at staff, pardon me. As John mentioned, we had talked about this, he and I talked about this and giving the council the greatest amount of flexibility, depending upon how everybody felt about having that type of meeting, whether or not any type of conditions at a national level got better, got worse, stayed the same, whatever your comfort was as a council. So we wanted to give you maximum flexibility. And you don't have to make the decision tonight.
And again, back to the cost, I guess last time you mentioned a dollar amount, was it, how this is broken out as 22,000 plus expenses basically? It was the other one similar to that and the expense side went up, or is our fee to Lyle what made the $10,000 increase?
The $10,000 increase is made up of actually both parts of it. Lyle's fee went up. His base fee, typically based on the contract there, says that it will cost roughly between $22,000 and $25,000. And then his travel fee expenses went up also, and it's also based on the anticipated increase in travel costs as well. So I would say it's about $4,000 for Lyle's fixed flat fee, and then a projected $6,000 increase in travel costs. Last time he did pair us with another metro city, so he came at a time that city actually decided to do theirs in the summer and moved their date. So this would be for him to come just here for Urbandale.
And is his travel arrangements, business class, whatever, is that staying the same? It's just a higher cost because costs are higher in travel right now?
Lyle tries to be as judicious as possible, but it's based on what his average costs are costing per day. But then that would be based on what his flights and hotel are when he arrives. The last time he stayed, I believe, at the Hilton Inn, so it wasn't a huge cost.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
I move approval of council letter 6797.
Okay, motion by Carberry Montgomery.
Second.
Second by Pogge. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.2 is to consider the Walnut Creek Regional Park Open Space Public Art Commissioning, and introduce this as our Parks and Rec Director, Jan Herkey. Jan?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, in February, you approved the Public Art Committee to commission a signature art piece at the Walnut Creek Regional Park. And I'm going to pull up the information here. And we went through the process. We sent out an RFQ. 20 artists sent in their information. The Public Art Committee narrowed it down to the top 3, and those top 3 were issued an RFP to provide more information. One of those top 3 did not meet the deadline for submitting, though it was listed 3 times in the document. So he was eliminated. So the top 2 artists then had an opportunity to come in for an interview. We had an interview panel of our 11 Public Art Committee members, as well as representatives from the community, the business community, a high school student, the Chamber of Commerce, 3 staff, including myself and the mayor, were part of that committee. And we held those interviews via, one artist is from Maine and one is from Florida. So we provided the opportunity WebEx, but our whole committee was here. So it's kind of fun to have everybody here and be able to share their thoughts. We also, providing for public input opportunities, we posted the information. Derek was great and put up a display up at the library in the main lobby with the information about both of the sculptures and the proposals, as well as social media, and we had a survey or information on the website. That survey the results were not shared with the committee and the panel until after the interviews occurred. So the 75 people participated in the survey, and 62.7% liked the artwork by Cecilia Luenza, which was the sphere. And again, it was a 2D picture opportunity. Wonderfully, the committee, and that's why we do these interviews, to be able to get a full presentation by the artists. And the artist Seth Palmiter and his wife presented, and the committee felt that they gave a much clearer understanding of the project. They provided some opportunities, would be flexible and take input from the city on any adjustments or changes. They want to make sure that we get the exact sculpture that we want. Also provided a much bigger presence in the park. It's up to 14 feet high. And one of the clinching decisions is we discovered that the one artist actually has almost the same exact sculpture that she already commissioned in another community in Missouri. So we would not be getting a unique sculpture, and that was one of the requirements for the project. So the art work from Seth Palmiter is what is being recommended, and just a few pictures here. They did a 3D view from, so this would be, this concrete is, or limestone is already out there. It's not to scale. This would be 14 feet. This is 3 feet. This is a view going, looking out into the street. And again, just some different views of what that sculpture might look like. I also want to share with you of, they provided, and hopefully I can pull this up, they showed a 3D view of this in a video. So this gives kind of a cool rendition of the different view. They will work with us on coloring for the birds. One of the comments from the committee is, could we get a few of the birds that are more solid? So it gives it a little more dimension. So they certainly are open to working with us. And the sculptor is the designer, as well as he manufactures and makes it. So sometimes when you work with an artist that doesn't actually do the manufacturing of it, it's a little bit more challenging, but, and I think everybody was very entertained by this couple. The artist does the work, but I think his wife is the one that pulls the strings, so. So this just gives a snapshot of what it would look like, and again, 14 feet high. I think it'll be a beautiful sculpture and focal point for our park. So be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
You have a picture of the also ran, by any chance?
Of the what?
Of the second place,
Yes.
just for chuckles.
Yep, I will, you know what? I have it on my flash drive. 1 second here.
Jan, was she forthcoming with that information? Or how did you figure out that?
Actually, one of our committee members pulled up her website
Yeah.
and was looking at it, and it was the exact colors, the exact sculpture.
Yeah, I said it on the interview, and no, it wasn't brought up during the interview, but one of the commission members was looking at her website as far as something she did, as Jan said, in Missouri, and found this as part of something she did almost identical to it, so.
When I saw the picture that you sent out of the two, will the other one have, I like the logo, the Urbandale logo. And I'm sure that's something that we have a control over anyway. It's not part of the sculpture.
Correct. I
Okay.
actually have it on my desk. We just picked it up today. So the actual planter area or seating area is not part of this project. It's already, the limestone is already out there, and we will be putting the logo.
Okay, good.
And it's a new logo on there, so but yes, actually, Derek just picked it up today. So that will be our responsibility. We will be providing the footings. So the artist will tell us, give us engineered drawings and signed engineered drawings. We learned that from the piece on the Douglas interchange. So we've learned, and he has 3 engineers on staff. So lessons learned, and so we will make sure that we get all the footings ready. So this will be a spring 2022 installation.
And by footings, do you mean?
The footings is underground,
Okay.
so everything underground.
Okay.
The pad and
Not
bringing
the-
the electrical and the lights.
So my question is, so is this one from Maine or Florida?
Maine.
Maine. So will they like bring it on a truck, or will he be here for the installation?
They are required to do all the installation. He actually mentioned that it will be coming in 5 pieces.
Okay.
And the birds are actually made with a finish, like with an auto body type finish for a car finish. So he said it should last over 20 years. But when it needs to be repainted, we can just take pieces off ourselves, so we don't have to ship it back to Maine.
Or if the mayor goes out once a year and waxes it. like
There
he
you
did.
go.
Are the interviews available for people to view? You recorded those, right?
Yes, yep.
So I would highly encourage you to listen to the interview, because, as Jan said, we were, I think as a whole, kind of just blown away by their investment in this whole thing and their attitude toward this. I certainly was, as far as they want to make sure this is something that is truly unique to Urbandale and something that we want. And so I highly encourage you to listen to the interviews, because they were, it's an entertaining 45 minutes or so to listen to. I can tell you that.
It is. I guess I'm one of her new favorite people. She emailed me too of put both of us in a room. It could be interesting, but
Yeah.
yes, they spent 45 minutes, were very thorough. The other artists weren't as involved or invested, I think is fair to say.
And I also want to appreciate all the outreach, and I think you generated a lot of excitement. I saw the display at the library and the posts on social media, and I think a lot of people were talking about it. I mean, maybe not witnessed by the 75 responses, but I felt like people were engaged on social media, and I'm sure a ton of people saw it at the library. So I think that was a great way to get people excited.
And a plug for the Public Art Committee. They've been great, our splash art programs and everything that you've been seeing as well. This is just another feather in the hat for Urbandale, and great efforts on their part.
I had people who did not vote because they couldn't decide.
Yeah.
So they liked them both, but they didn't care. They just.
Yeah, a lot of the comments, and I guess those were official survey votes. The ones that are on social media weren't the official votes. So we had a lot of comments on social media as well. So it's just exciting getting people engaged, and exciting for me, as a lot of them said, either one would be wonderful. So I surprisingly, I didn't even hear one saying it's a waste of money or why are you doing this, which oftentimes we'll hear. So that was encouraging too.
Those will come later.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we'll have to meet the artists
There will be that chance. Yeah.
when they come.
Yes.
That would be my only question. Is there an opportunity when they come to install it, you can give a little expose on the piece, or just do a little artist talk or something?
We actually will be having a ribbon cutting and have an opportunity for them to present, and certainly this will be a big deal with the investment that you're committing to, we will make sure that this is a big deal in Urbandale, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be great. And they are actually, the artist is coming in August. He's going to be in Missouri for another project, and so he'll be meeting with the committee and going over the questions and making adjustments. So it's nice that they're making the effort to come to us. So.
All right. There's anything further?
I move approval of council letter 6798.
Okay, motion by Carberry Montgomery,
Second.
second by Pogue. Discussion, please vote. Okay, that passes. Thanks, Jan. Item 9.3 is to consider the equipment purchase for the patrol vehicles and equipment. And Chief would answer any questions if there are any.
About how many miles are on one of those things? Because I know that they get a lot of run. Or would it be more accurate to say how many hours are on one of those things? Because they run all the time.
Right, so there is a difference, and there is a way that the dealerships can tell how many hours are on the motor as opposed to how many miles are on the car. So when we trade them in, by the time we finally get done with them and trade them in, they're usually between 80 and 90,000 on them, right around that area. It just depends on each car when they go in, but I can't tell you the hours on the motor. I can't remember what Kent told me about that, but yeah. We get our use out of them, and once you start getting up to that kind of mileage, that's when we start having more mechanical issues with them, and then, of course, a few occasions that we have to get the speeds up on those cars once in a while when we're doing things. We don't like to have them, anything out there that might give out on us, so.
Good, good. Yeah, just curious.
I don't know if this is an AJ question or the chief, but on the notes from the Stivers, I don't know, estimate, it said that one of the vehicles was going to be transferred to the fire department.
Right.
Does
Yep.
that do we have the same issues with mileage or?
So I can answer that question. So it's going to their code enforcement, is what I understood from Jerry. So that won't just be a car that they can drive around to businesses. They won't be using it as a patrol vehicle or an emergency response vehicle anymore. It'll be code enforcement, just going out and checking businesses.
Get a new paint job on it, though?
I don't know if they're going to paint it or not, if they're going to leave it black.
We have, as a matter of policy, when a vehicle comes up for trade-in opportunities, whether it's police department or in the building, we always circulate it around the city to see if anybody needs it. And typically, the police vehicles get pushed down to the engineer interns. They can't just.
They do.
Yeah, they typically do because they.
Happens quite often.
They are just out Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They're not emergency. They usually have a lot of space that you can put equipment in, and they get you where you're going, but they don't win any beauty contest.
Yeah, so, yeah, to answer your question, that is going over to the fire department, but for a non-emergency response vehicle.
Okay. That's great.
All right. Anything further, or is there a motion?
Council letter 6794.
Motion by Caduce, second by Russell. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. Thank you. Item 9.4 is to consider the Parks and Public Works Maintenance Facility networking equipment purchase. And James Breyer is probably somewhere in ether land, ready to talk to us if there's any questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'm ready to discuss if you feel like it.
All right. Oh, there's James.
Yep, I'm on WebEx, sir.
All right, any questions?
So, basically what it is it's just the basic networking equipment we need to get the new Public Works building online. So nothing fancy.
All right.
And I would move council letter 6795.
Motion by Russell, second by Caduce. Discussion, please vote. All right, that passes. And then finally, item 9.5 is to consider the safe school routes. And to introduce this is our Director of Engineering and Public Works, John Larson. John?
right there. Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This is our safe school routes and some modifications to our parking ordinances. Just to give you a little bit of background, Urbandale has a pedestrian safety committee, and the purpose of the committee is to work with the schools, the police department, and the engineering staff to kind of review what's being proposed around the schools as far as the interaction between the pedestrians, vehicle traffic, things like that, just to see if anybody has any concerns. Each elementary school within Urbandale has a safe school route that's prepared. Basically, the safe school routes show where we have stop signs with painted crosswalks, crossing guards, traffic signals, things like that. This here is just an example of the one that's around the Karen Acres Elementary School. You know, for instance, you can see that we have a crossing guard at the front of the school. We also have a crossing guard that's on Elm Drive. This year, really were not any changes to our safe school routes. I just want to kind of show you an example, a little bit of background to them. The biggest things that changed is our pedestrian boundaries changed on a couple of them, and that is due to Valerius Elementary closing and then Olmsted Elementary opening. So basically, their boundaries changed a little bit just due to the schools changing. So with that, kind of the biggest thing that comes about is looking at the parking and no parking areas around the new Olmsted Elementary and Lions Park. So just to give you a little bit of background on what we have today in the ordinances. So we currently have at Aurora and 72nd Street, there are 10 parking spaces that are designated for either the senior center or for Lions Park, the shelter use. Down by 72nd and Prairie, we also have 10 spaces plus the handicap parking spaces that are designated for use by the shelter. And then based on, call it the old Olmsted Elementary, the north side of Prairie Avenue is where the school buses used to load and unload. So we had parking restricted between 8 to 4 between 71st and 72nd Street for those buses during school hours. What we're recommending is to modify that to be basically still have limited parking from 8 to 4, but to limit that to people that are using Lions Park. So that would have places for people to park that are either there for the playground or for pickleball or the tennis courts, and basically would not allow the high school students to park there. Currently, they do park on all of 72nd except for those 20 spaces that we had to kind of designate out to keep them from parking there, and they do park all on 71st. So currently, you know, nobody is parking on the north side of Prairie, but with this ordinance change, it would allow park users spots to be able to access the park. Currently on the south side of Prairie, there's a stretch of right around in here that's about 250 feet that's allowed to park, and the rest is no parking between 71st and 72nd. We're proposing to eliminate any parking on Prairie, and I'll kind of show you why that is once we show you the new layout for the school, but we would have the entire block stretch there, no parking. And then one other thing we're cleaning up, I believe it was in May, the council approved the updated 28E with the school related to the pool. And in that, originally there was 15 parking spaces that were designated for the pool. Those 15 spaces now will be back to dedicated to the school. And then now there's 13 new spaces that are closer to the senior center that are designated for their parking. So as I was talking about the school, so again, the buses used to park on the north side, and then there was a stretch here where we had the parents for drop off, and then the main access to the school is on the east side. This will be the access now for the school and for parents to drop off. So they'll be able to come in, make the loop around, drop off the student, come around and come back out. So that's why we really don't want anybody parking here anymore and walking across the parking lot. They also have parking here that'll be intended for like the pre-K drop off as well. And then the buses will now enter in the southeast corner of the lot. So they've separated the buses from the cars, thus the reason we do no longer need, you know, the bus parking up on Prairie. I guess with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
I guess for me, the parking on Prairie is still gonna be kind of confusing. We can't park anything there between 8 and 4 unless you're using the park.
Correct. And again, we'd have that.
So is there like a time, is it like a 2-hour time limit? Is it what? How are people gonna know, hey, I'm going to the park, not going to Olmsted to drop treats off for my kid's class?
Again, the signs would be designated that says it's for park use. And again, it's mainly to keep this from being filled with the high school students, because they will fill the whole thing and not allow anybody to park there to use the park. And I think that's the biggest issue we have now. It's tough for people to use the park.
Yeah, and I fully agree the high school kids would flood that area, but if we say park use, I don't know, it's just,
Well, I guess-
the chief's gonna have to
I guess-
enforce it, and I'm not sure how you're gonna identify a
Maybe the
person's
best-
going to the park versus over to Olmsted or over somewhere else.
Maybe to throw in, though, the fact that the parking lot is so much bigger than it was before. If you were coming during the day to drop something off, you can park in the school's parking lot, which is always the intent for the school to include everything within their own boundaries.
I'm guessing we'll be back on this one later.
Could be.
All right, any other discussion? Thoughts?
I'm happy to move council letter 6800.
All right, we actually have two motions,
I'm
two separate motions. Adam.
Sorry. Happy to move the safe school. Is there a number on this one?
No, just
Just this, I'm happy to move the safe school routes change for the schools for the city of Urbandale.
okay, motion by Caduce,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
And then I'll move the first reading of the ordinance 2021-17.
Okay, motion by Caduce,
Second.
second by Obrecht. Discussion, please vote.
John, I have another slightly unrelated question for you, which I always seem to have.
Let's get okay.
Oh, did we
So the
vote?
vote's done, yep.
Okay, I'm
That
sorry.
passes.
Do we have a multi-year contract on the crossing guards, and did everything with the private crossing guards with that company, did everything go?
Is it better to let Chief
Uh-oh.
answer that?
Yeah, we're, sorry.
Just talking about
We're the ones
schools.
that get to deal with the school crossing guards contract, and it went awesome last year with the private company, no complaints, no issues whatsoever, and yes, it continues for next year as well.
And they are, I'm assuming, are probably having staffing concerns, or hopefully they're keeping,
None that they've expressed to us, and I think
On-
because of the flexible hours that they offer, and it's a bigger company, obviously, than what we were doing locally when we were trying just to fill our own little spots here in Urbandale. They handle the West Des Moines and Des Moines schools as well. So I think they have a bigger pool, quite frankly, to draw from if they have shortages or people that are missing or sick or whatever. So we had no concerns with them not showing up for their assignments at all. They were there every time. We never heard anything that they weren't there. We went out and checked on them at several times throughout the year at different times in each location, and they were always there, and we never had any complaints.
great. I know we'll have even more kids in the schools this year than we did last year, so I'm glad to hear
It
that
was an
that's-
odd year, yes, for
Yes.
them as well. So
That is
yep.
going,
It
that's
went really,
going well.
very well, yep. Better than expected, actually.
Yeah.
I thought we'd get some issues to start off with, maybe, until we got things figured out, but it was very smooth.
Thank you. You can see how my mind works of school routes and crossing guards.
Absolutely. All right, that takes us to the end of our regular agenda. Yeah, Ron?
Nothing other than to comment that it's nice to see the number of staff here tonight, and that maybe we're gradually easing back into some set of normalcy. So nice, we appreciate you, and like it even better when you're in person.
What's wrong? Bridget?
The only thing I was going to say is that when I woke up this morning, I had a notice from LinkedIn that today was AJ's 12th anniversary with the city of Urbandale.
I feel it was July 6th.
Well, it told me it was
LinkedIn?
it told me it was today.
Okay, well,
So
very good.
then I guess my congratulations are a little bit late,
Thank you.
but
I've been getting messages and I'm wondering, okay, That's cool. Thank you. I
Well,
appreciate that.
LinkedIn sent me an email this morning, and you were the lead anniversary, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for serving us for 12 years, maybe 12 more.
No. No, my wife has made some very clear parameters set, but it's been a very enjoyable 12 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And as I've told people, I'm here by choice, and I want to stay by choice because it's a great community. So thank you. Great staff, too. There's only 4 of them out there, but great staff.
The rest are online.
The rest are online.
All right, Adam?
Just recognition for a couple youth events happening. So Urbandale 4-H participated in the Polk County Fair, and out of it came 1 state project, 3 alternate state projects, and 6 best of show projects. So, which is the best that those kids could do, which is phenomenal. And then also got to attend Brad Pettit's Eagle Scout project with Chief the other day, or his Eagle Scout Award. So his project was at the police station, and but another citizen, and Todd's a reserve police officer, his dad as well. So it's nice to see Eagle Scout get recognized. Only 4% of Boy Scouts reach the level of Eagle, so.
That was impressive. So yeah, that's a great award, and so.
What was the project? I think I saw something, but I don't remember.
Yeah, so outside at the police station, there's a patio area that he put in, and also Justin Martin's father was the master of ceremonies for Brad, so.
Yeah, so a nice, front of our station, you put some nice limestone, the term I'm looking for, block in, and then made a seating area. We have 4 picnic tables up there, and so you can have lunch up there and everything else. I told him I was gonna sell tickets to those for National Night Out. We're gonna be hot seats
Yes.
there that we're gonna wanna sit at and enjoy their meal, so, very nice. And it turned that area that was kind of just, we really couldn't get anything to grow there because it had some eave over it and stuff, you know, so it didn't get any water, and it really turned it into a nice area that we can use. Very nice project.
Wonderful. Yep. Thanks for bringing that up. David?
I read an article in the Business Record just this past week about the Central Iowa Water Trails. I don't know if anyone else has read that. And I did not know, but apparently in this November, there's going to be a $65 million bond referendum for the citizens of Polk County. And I didn't know if that's something that maybe is general knowledge for everyone. Is that something we can maybe talk to Bob Brunel or have somebody come in and talk to us about that? I mean, you know, especially if we're talking about going with a bond referendum in March, just to follow up on that. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how the citizens of Polk County, what their appetite would be for a $65 million bond referendum in Polk County. So I see a few nods, like somebody else is aware of this, so maybe if we can get some information.
We'll generate some information either from
Yeah,
the
about-
trail program itself or from the supervisor.
Yeah. Again, I'm just thinking about $65 million bond, and that might be a barometer for us.
All right. Thanks, David. Adam?
Just a reminder that Endow Urbandale grants are out. We've sent those to past applicants, and so those got mailed out. But if you have a group that benefits the people of Urbandale, we have 2 buckets of money we'll be granting money out from, our usual endowment, but then we also have some COVID relief dollars left that we'll be making grants. And most of the Urbandale organizations have applied in the past, so they received by mail an application. But if you've got an Urbandale organization that's interested, they can find it on our website. So just don't forget, I'm not sure the deadline, we've got like a month. So you've got some time, but don't forget about it. We'll be giving out some grants.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. All right, I just have a couple things a little bit farther out. Jan, help me with this, but I think we have now set October 5, which is a Friday, right? The employee appreciation breakfast that we're going to do. Is it the 1st?
October 1st.
Okay, Friday, I know it's Friday the 1st.
6:30?
Some ridiculously early hour, yes.
Yep, 6:30, yep. And then on Friday the 2nd, we're going to have the mayor's bike ride. So we weren't able to get it done in May, but we're going to do that now. Saturday the 2nd, excuse me, Saturday the 2nd at 8 a.m. And we'll have pancakes in, so you'll get your fill of carbs those 2 days for that. So just get those on your calendar. And obviously, again, National Night Out next week, and so it's a big week. And I think there's something, do we have something in the park next Friday night too, Jan?
Battle of the Birds.
Battle of the Burbs, that's Saturday.
Party in the Park coming August 7th.
That's it, okay.
And Sunday, August 8th is the ants presentation.
Yes, that was it. That's what I was thinking.
Or Arts Council. Des Moines Art. A cool presentation. Four different show times. It's on our social media and website.
Yep, okay. So in any event, a lot of good things coming up, and make sure we get them on our calendar, so.
We have one other item here, Mayor. Get it, Nicole?
Yeah, that's right, I saw that today. Matt received his care package, and that's included in there, so it was good that he's representing Urbandale in the Middle East, so great picture, so.
Yeah.
Thank you to staff who put all that together and sent it. You know, it's easy to talk about, it's another thing to get it done, so, thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep, and what he doesn't use, I hope he uses in barter. I needed to send him.
Expect he's learned that
Yeah, I need to get an email to him to say if we sent too much of one thing, see if you can get something cool in exchange for it, so.
If you recall, you sent me to Medellin, Colombia, remember, with this same flag. I presented it to the city council and the mayor when I was visiting down there.
Yeah.
I see we have the same type of flag.
Yeah, that's one that we want to work on to kind of update, but
We might, yeah, I
That's-
think it's temporary.
that needs a refresh. So we've talked about that internally, but that's the best we had, and we wanted to make sure he had something there that he could share with all of his cohorts there.
There you go.
Well, I heard from him right away this morning, and he was just ecstatic with the box and the thoughtfulness, and especially the flag to share his Urbandale pride. And he is definitely counting down the days. He's, I think at this point, well, definitely under 100 days.
Yep.
All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion in a second to adjourn.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at